Fighter is the a Foo Fighter is the name for those things they saw in World War II.
Oh, right, okay.
Those globes that went around
I thought it was a
airplanes and
crappy
stuff.
band that had the guy from Nirvana in it.
Yeah, I mean it's really obvious. It's real obvious. You know,
UFOs,
it could have been a bug 10 feet away from my screen, but if it was a bug 10 feet away from my screen, it would have had to be a ginormous bug, and I would have seen that.
Yeah, okay.
That was definitely something at a distance that didn't have bird wings on it.
Well, just make sure you haven't had an anal probe overnight, Kyle.
Yeah, he probably has. He probably can't remember.
I'd have a much bigger smile on my face.
They probably took his memory away after they did it. They probably flew off with him. They always, because you look at it, when someone in America gets abducted by aliens, it's always the kooky nut jobs, isn't it? And that's Kyle to a T. Now he'd be a perfect, hillbilly abducted by aliens. They done probe my butt. They did.
They done probe my butt.
Didn't buy me lunch.
They put a probe in my butt. Makes me want to tell a story about, or tell a joke about aliens, but I'll save that for later in the show.
Okie dokie. So how's Bournemouth life treating you, Billy O?
Well, busy.
So
I don't mind that. It's they pay me well, so I'd rather be busy.
Fair
so
enough.
Time goes quick.
Right. Cool. And no more packing, like breaking down on the motorway.
No, that was last Wednesday. Oh,
yeah.
took me. I set off at 3:30 in the afternoon. Eventually got home at about 4:35 a.m. in the morning. Following
How
day.
did it take so long to get sorted?
Because the AA, I'm on the AA, and I've got the full relay service. So I broke down on the hard shoulder of the M3, which is meant to be hazardous. So they're meant to get to you within an hour.
Yeah.
So 3 hours later, they picked me up from the edge of the M3. And their excuse was it's the first day of the school holidays.
Right.
So then the first guy just had to take me to a safe place. So he just drove me about 10 miles up the road to the Winchester services.
Right.
Wait 2 hours for another van, a recovery truck. So that turned up, and he'd already got a guy on the back of his flatbed. So he had to put me on the spur. So they've got a thing that comes out, and they lift your front wheels up and drag you.
Right.
But that takes about an hour to get on. And then we got about, and he said, "Oh, I can only take you halfway. I can only take you to Thurrock Services." And we're on the way to Thurrock Services. He says, "Oh, I've now got to stop for 45 minutes because my tacho only allows me to run for 4.5 hours, and I've got to have a 45-minute break."
Jesus!
Wow. So then I finally got to Thurrock. So we travelled a total distance of probably about 70 miles in about 9 hours, and then the next guys picked me up at Thurrock. They were a lot better. There was 2 of them. I didn't have to wait for them, and they took my car to the garage because I'd already got booked into the garage the following day to do the clutch because I knew it was going. So he had all the bits. So they dropped the car off at the garage and then dropped me home. And the garage guy was really good. He fixed it the same day. So I got the car back the following day.
Yeah. Okay.
But a nightmare. Yeah.
Yeah. Very pain in the ass that was. Your car's not old either, is it? Your car looks quite new.
Hey, fellas.
Pretty newish, isn't it?
It's
Mark isn't on the side of the road this week. Yay! Poor guy. I you know what? That sounded like the biggest cluster. Bill? You know what I've ever heard.
It was pretty much a clusterfuck. Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, I was just telling the guys it took me. It took me about 12 and a half hours to travel 150 miles.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That would drive me fucking insane.
Yeah,
I mean, short trip, mind you, but
I know, but you're well on the way already, Bill. So
I know. That's what I mean. Short trip.
In that amount of time, I can basically get to Bill from here.
Yeah.
You probably can. Yeah, from you to Texas. Yeah.
So Billy,
why are you so clean shaven today, Kyle? You look fantastic.
The grandbaby.
I'm
scruffy a little now, but I got to keep clean shaven when we have the grandbaby, so I can be world's greatest papa.
You are the world's greatest papa.
Have you got to have your chin as smooth as a baby's bottom?
Yeah, when I give her kisses when I'm scruffy, it makes her skin break out. So
yeah.
Papa bad.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Papa shaved up for that.
Papa evil.
So it looks like you had a good time at San Diego then, Bill.
Oh my God, yeah. Well, we didn't really get to talk about it last week because we had JM on, but it was very strange. So I'm sure you've seen the post now about the weird Ditko guy at the Ditko panel.
I saw that, yeah.
The guy stands up and starts talking about when he and Ditko drank bourbon together at the Dead Horse party at Comic-Con. Well, there's only one problem with that, and you probably know what it is.
He never was there.
Ditko was never there.
Yeah, I heard you say it.
It was just so funny, and it was a blast though. This year was great. Our we had about 75 people on our panel. Most of the interviews people had never seen the artists or writers before, and like Bill Jack Kamen from EC, I had no idea what he looked like. I mean, it's just amazing. And then of course everyone knew what Jack Davis looked like, but there are other guys in the panel. John Broom, who created most of the Silver Age Flash characters, including Kid Flash, and Drake. Is it Stan? Not Stan Drake.
Arnold Drake.
Arnold Drake. Yeah. And those were my guys. Those two and Jack Davis were the guys I talked about. But yeah, Arnold Drake basically created Doom Patrol, and then came over to Marvel and started writing X-Men. So he went from writing Brotherhood of Evil to Brotherhood of Evil Mutants within like a 1 month span. It was very, very weird. Because
didn't he write the first Guardians of the Galaxy too?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, that's a big that I missed out on.
Are there any old Gardner Fox interviews?
You know what? We do not, because I think Gardner died quite a long time ago, and like before the 90s maybe. I'll have to look it up. But these interviews from 99 to 2001.
Yeah.
And it's funny, the guy who did them is now kind of part of our comic historian collective, David Armstrong. David was actually the editor of Eraserhead, which is one of my favorite all-time movies. And he also edited a bunch of John Cassavetes. Oh, come on, Gray.
That's a pile of crap, that movie, honestly.
And he also edited a bunch of John Cassavetes movies, which were quite popular back in the day with Gena Rowlands and Ben Gazzara. So
Eraserhead was one of those cult movies.
Oh yeah, well, it was his first movie too. It was started in 72, finished in 77. It's a weird movie.
Call it by its real word. Like cult with one of the letters changed.
What?
Yeah,
Billy O. Billy O. That's great, Mark. Are you, my brother from another planet? I mean, another country. But tomorrow, Ivan Briggs, my buddy, he's auctioning off Ditko's personal Spider-Man collection.
Oh wow, that should go for a lot.
Yeah. I really want that 37, the one where he's underwater.
Yeah,
I would really, but I'm sure it's going to go for way more than I choose to afford. But So Ivan's also the guy who's handling the biggest DC collection ever. It's everything from 1935 to 2014. Every DC title.
What?
Yes,
it's going to take him forever.
Yeah. Well, he's going to do. Some are going to be in lots, of course. but like the biggies, like he had to send off the action one. He even had a double action number one, which
What, double cover?
Huh?
A double cover action number one?
No. There was
No.
actually a comic called Double Action.
Oh, double action. Yes, I know it. Yeah.
And very rare. And so those are in the mix. So is of course Batman's first appearance, Wonder Woman, Justice Society, Justice League, everything. And it's actually from a British collector.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it
Ivan
wasn't from a band. It was a guy in a band, wasn't it? It was a guy from a band, wasn't it? Is this the collection?
I don't know if he was in a band or if he was.
Sure,
He was either a band or he was a music. He was a producer or something like that. He had something to do with music, but I'm not sure.
Yeah,
he was
I think
actually
Nevs
a
has
player.
talked about this guy, hasn't he?
I thought
What's
that
that?
sold ages ago because he collected them all, didn't he? And I thought he'd been sold as a single lot or something. But he's been
He
sold.
tried. Well, see, he's tried 4 times to sell them as a single lot, but honestly, who the fuck has that kind of money?
Yeah.
I mean, because if you think about it, you're probably talking about a good quarter of $2 billion. I mean, if you really truly think about what's in that collection.
So if we split that between the 4 of us, how much is that each for us to pay to us to buy it?
That would be if we got Nevs in on it and we each threw in 50 million, we'd have it.
Right.
But I mean, think about all the wonderful comics all the way to 2014. I mean, it's just amazing. Simply amazing. But back to the show, back to the con. My buddy who I stay with had a meltdown this time. That was not fun. But not really a meltdown, but he chose to do drugs with his kids there at the con.
Oh, great.
And he went and he told one of the kids' friends about all his malfeasance when he goes to con every year. And so I get a call from her dad saying, "What is going on?" I said, "You know what? I guess I'm the designated adult because Pete's just not, I love Pete to death. I won't say his name. You guys probably know it anyway, but it was.
When you say you were staying with him, were you staying at his house?
No.
Or sharing a room?
He started one of the main conferences on comic arts at Comic-Con, and so he gets a free suite every year.
Okay.
So his 2 kids and their 2 friends were in the back, and they're teenagers and young adults. So from 15 to 21. Yeah. So but he just went off the rails this time.
I never knew Comic-Con was so decadent, honestly. I thought it was just like a bunch of geeks.
Oh my God. No. It's well, drugs. I mean, no, that I really party hardy when I go. However, I don't do weird. I mean, I don't do weird drugs. Like he did Molly, which is like ecstasy, which is ridiculous, and I'm not going to do that. I mean, I'm too old for one, but it's just not really in my wheelhouse to do that stuff. So, I smoke and I drink and that's about it.
You're a magic mushroom kind of guy, ain't you, Bill?
No, I didn't do it. They're legal there now. Mushrooms are psilocybin is now legal in California. So you can do it, but I don't really like tempting fate. And if I was going to do something like that, I'd like to be in a controlled environment of my own making, not one where anybody can come up to you and mess with you. But so Pete was wasted and went up to Tony Todd, the guy who played Candyman, and guy's 6'6". He also played Worf's brother on Star Trek: The Next Generation. He runs up to him and he goes, Candyman. And I guess Tony Todd had his fill, and he goes, You go into the bathroom right now and look in the mirror. And Pete runs off going, no. It was so weird. I was like, please go look in the mirror. Please. But had a nice time. Got to catch up with my friends, John Jennings and Jeremy Love. John is the friend I keep talking about who wrote Ghostlight, the Black Silver Surfer.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And basically it looks like, so it had a 4-issue limited run. There's a very good chance they're going to make it a regular comic, which is great. But John has all these great things going for him. He's one of the leading black comic artists and historians in his field, and he's also a professor and just a super, super nice guy. We've known each other for over 10 years now. He deserves all the success he's getting. He's also got his own imprint at Abrams, which is quite an honor too. So, and it looks like I'll be writing a book on 60s animation, 60s television animation. Yeah. So I have to put all my notes together on that and submit it to the publisher, but they were very interested. Yes, Gray.
Hello, Biggie Shack.
Oh, Biggie Shank.
I'm saying hello to someone in the chat. Hello, Biggie Shack.
I don't want to get shanked by
Shack's
Biggie.
here.
Biggie Smalls is going to shank me. The ghost of Biggie Smalls.
Biggie
So
Smalls,
I will
Biggie
say
Smalls,
this:
Biggie
there was a
Smalls.
guy in a probably a 10, 11 foot tall apocalypse costume at the con. There was also a guy who dressed up. He created this costume that was about 8 feet high, and it was Bill Sienkiewicz's version.
Oh,
of
I saw
Kingpin.
that. I saw that. That was fantastic.
It is fantastic.
His version of what?
Huh?
His version of what?
Kingpin.
Okay.
The
It looks just like a Sienkiewicz's. Yeah, it's huge. And
little head.
And Bill signed the left hand of the costume. So that costume might be up for sale soon. You never know. But it was amazing. It was really, really amazing.
What's
And
amazing is how he could stand up in it.
I did not run into Mark Waid at the show.
Did you see his mouth?
Yeah, but did you bump uglies with his mom? That's the question.
Yeah. Mrs. Wade was very nice. No, I'm kidding. I left that to Pete. But what happened was what happened was that we went to one bar, and a friend of mine came up and goes, "You just missed Mark Waid." And I go, "What?" And I ran out to the street to see if I saw him, and I didn't. I wasn't gonna say. I was just gonna go kind of mess with him for a minute, but it's so funny. The guys that I did the panel with, they've been ribbing me about it, and they all agreed with my stance and everything, but it was just funny because they kept saying, "Oh, we're gonna get Mark Waid. We're gonna have cocktails with Mark Waid in an hour," and all this shit. And I was like, "Oh, great. So I never knew. Well, you never know who you're gonna run into at Comic-Con, but I will tell you this. Bill Sienkiewicz was really sweet to me. He came up and talked to me for about 10, 15 minutes. And then my friend Dave Blodgett almost purchased the artwork for the latest Spider-Verse poster, but I think they wanted 6 figures.
Yeah.
And I mean, understandably, but he couldn't come up with terms. But he buys stuff from him every year pretty much. He's bought a few original Alex Rosses too. He holds on to them for a few years and then flips them. Yeah. And it sounded like something you would do, Mark. It sounds like he does really well doing that. So something to think about. But so how are you guys? Mark, is your vehicle fixed now?
My vehicle is fixed. So I'm working at the moment. So yeah. So
how far away are you working from the house?
I'm weekly commuting. So I go. My deal is 4 days a week, 1 day working from home. So I go down on a Sunday, come back on a Wednesday evening, work at home on a Thursday, and have Friday off.
Oh wow, that's pretty great.
Yeah, that's okay.
So you're home now for the day.
Yeah, so I drive back home on a Wednesday generally.
That's great. So how do you like being back in the workforce?
Yeah, I don't mind it. It's quite good because I get to get my toolbox out. You know, you get some skills over 40 years, and when you retire, you stop using a lot of them. So it's quite nice to get them all out and
use your skills again.
Yeah, and you know, stuff that I learned 30 years ago. People go as if it's new. It's not.
It's 30 years old.
and people management skills is all the same stuff, you know.
Well, you've always struck me as a people person, so
so you know, people get excited, and you know, they start annoying each other, and you just got to go, calm down, you know. Life's too short, you know.
Have some of my own personal gin. I'm kidding.
Yeah, don't quite resort to that.
Yeah, you may someday, but you haven't had to yet.
So yeah, it's okay. And you know, one of the nice things as well, because you know you're only there for a short period of time, so
right,
everybody knows you haven't got an axe to grind. Yeah, so you've got no political agenda, and they all know I don't want a full-time job. So,
but it's also probably easier for you to make friends that way.
Yeah, exactly, because they know I'm not going to be there forever. So when I say something, you know, they know it hasn't got any side to it. You know, I'm just saying it because I think that's what I think. You know,
right?
That's what's best. So that does make it a bit easier when you're in an organization and you're there permanently. You start to get, you know, political stuff going on, and which I don't like. So going and doing 3 months is a bit easier in a way.
Wow, yeah. That is nice.
Yeah,
you know, I've had gigs like that before, and I really enjoy like the short termness of it, because you can't really get upset. You can't get upset or weirded out because you know you're only doing 12 weeks. So
yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so you know, and this is the second time round at this place. So I actually was there last year doing.
Oh wow!
So this is my second time as interim operations director at the same business. So I knew a lot of the people. So I already, you know, my team is largely unchanged from when I was there last year. So, you know,
what are the goods you produce?
So they're called kiosk, but basically they're everywhere. So if you go to an airport these days and you log in with the airline, you don't go up to the desk anymore, do you? You log in on a kiosk.
Oh boy, that's a great business.
Yeah, and we don't make the software, and we don't make the pads, but we make the device. We make the metal framework that holds them.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
So we do everything from, you know, stuff in churches where you can now do digital donations. So instead of, you know, putting money in the bag, you do it with a card. Through to, we're doing a major project with United Airlines for a complete check-in system.
Oh wow!
Through to betting companies where they, you know, you can place your bets on a terminal. You know, all that. There's huge hotel registrations. So when you arrive at a hotel, you don't have to talk to a hotel receptionist. You just check in on a pad. You know.
So your job is to make the machines that stop other people from having jobs.
Correct.
Oh, that's wonderful.
But the question is, when is the Right Said Fred reunion, and when are you going to start singing "I'm Too Sexy" again live?
Yeah, well, that was a long time ago. I'm not sure I'm up for that anymore. My legs won't do it.
I don't know.
I couldn't get into the rubber
Brian
underpants.
Nash got back together with Frankie Goes to Hollywood. They said hell would freeze over before they all got back together, and they got back together.
Oh, there you go. I might do it then. I'm not sure my rubber underpants fit me anymore.
Yeah.
Rubber underpants. That sounds like a good business to be in too, especially as we get older. So I showed this to the other guys last week, but I got this. This is the book that Bill Griffith wrote on Ernie Bushmiller, and he signed it, and then he actually drew the 3 rocks.
Oh, nice.
For me.
Nice.
But what a nice guy. We had a real nice long conversation.
Is that a play on the 3 pillars?
Yeah.
I was thinking of the 3 shells.
The 3 pillars of success. And
I picked this up.
Oh, that's nice.
The Alex Ross book, where it's all kind of looks like black light posters. Poster art.
Yeah.
And I'm real proud of this. I haven't opened it yet. And then this was a real surprise to me.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really great. Really great, and it has some wonderful artwork in it. Like
Is that the name of the artist? Macroboy.
Macroboy, yeah.
Macroboy.
Yeah.
He was
Or is that the name
famous
of a
for
character?
he was famous for Captain Marvel Jr. and the Green Llama. And
It sounds like he's a member of the Legion of Superheroes.
It does, doesn't
Macroboy.
it?
Macroboy, yeah.
Was it newspaper? Was he newspaper strips? Bill?
Well, yes. After Alex Raymond died in
yeah,
a car accident,
yeah,
they tapped him to do Flash Gordon. And
right.
he drew Flash Gordon for the next
That's how I know his name.
20
Yeah.
years.
What about Simonson? Didn't he pick it up as well? Or was he after Mac Raboy?
Long after.
Long after.
Yeah, and
okay.
so was Jeff, my friend on Facebook. He now draws another strip, but he drew and wrote Flash for about maybe as much as 7 or 8 years. Oh, that's cool.
Well, that's a good one. That's a sort of homage to the
Justice League cover.
Yeah.
Justice League number 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's gorgeous. I love Giffen rather.
Yeah, I think Geffen was a record company, wasn't it? Geffen.
Geffen is a record company. Giffen is comic artist.
Yeah.
And we were really lucky to have JM on last week. I'm just sorry most of you guys weren't able to be here.
Yeah, it was
I was reading the comic on the train the other day on the way to Lisa's, and some bloke come up begging for money, and like he said, "Oh, I wrote that comic book." And it was like from 1984 or something. I said, "Well, when was you born, mate?" You know, he was like 70 something. So you wrote this when you was 8 years old, did you? Just a freaking nutter, basically.
What a weirdo.
A regular London nutter trying to spill me some rubbish story.
Oh, Tucky of Nutters, my you never guess who rang me up last night. Great. It's the guy who's after all
your Corbin man.
Corbin man.
Have you got any Corbin?
He's going to be there on Sunday, tells me.
Oh, you said that last 3 cons, didn't he?
I know, yeah.
Marks. He's probably not going to pay for any of them because they're too expensive.
I've got a Corbin portfolio. I've got a Corbin portfolio, but it's not signed.
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
So I'll pick you up a similar sort of time on Sunday, Gray.
Right. What was it? 8:30?
Quarter to 8, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Sooner or later, I'm just basically going to ship all my comics over to England or up to Montreal.
Oh, that's nice. Okay. Like the Rockets.
Yeah, I got 2 of these I got one for me and one for Blanca, so we have matching bags. Yeah, and then I'm sure you guys know what these are.
Rosin, is that for
cannabis infused gummies?
Yes.
Oh.
Woo!
I thought Rosin was what you put on a blinking a violin.
Yeah.
So I came back with like four packs of gummies in my jacket and one container of 2 little joints.
Can you be arrested in Texas for that?
Well, not really. It's basically decriminalized now. And since you're leaving a state where it is legal, you're not breaking any laws.
Right.
So thank God. But my stupid friends didn't realize it, and they wound up flushing a bunch of stuff down the toilet because they didn't realize they could bring it home with them. And they were like, "What?"
It's a very awkward system you got there, haven't it? Where you got blinking one law from one state to the next. And if you're not careful, you probably took it into a certain state too much. You're for smuggling, probably.
So Biden is basically Republican light. He's not going to do anything that's going to piss off the Republic, even though he's a Democrat.
You don't have left wingers there in America.
We have a bunch of slack ass lazy motherfuckers. We have Ted Cruz, who's been a senator for over 10 years now, and not done one damn thing for the state except run for president. And it's just, hey, he's just
he did run another time. He ran
He's
another
run.
time.
I think he's run
He
twice.
ran away
now.
to Mexico when you had blinking weather problems there. I was
Yeah,
thinking,
God, yeah. When the going gets tough, he went to Cancun. Yeah. His name isn't just cruise for fun. He cruised. He cruised on the state. But and then he goes, well, I just had to go take my kids, and then I came right back. And it's like,
I'm looking forward to you
freaking
having.
break.
I'm looking forward to you having a president who's actually in a state penitentiary during his tenure.
Well,
that'd be cool.
so that's why the clock is ticking right now, because Florida they have a speedier court system, so he's going to wind up if he gets a felony, he can't run again. So, and he's been indicted on, now it's like, I think in toto he's been indicted on over 100 felonies. So
one of them might stick.
yeah. Well, I'm hoping.
Yeah.
But the guy is he's egregious, and right now he's the leading candidate for the GOP, and he's freaking
unbelievable,
nuts.
mate. It's unbelievable.
It is. And you know what? If he hadn't been Donald Trump and the darling of reality TV, there's no way he would have ever gotten elected.
The thing is, with politics nowadays, they just get away. You all get away with lying. Like just a fraction of the stuff that Trump has done, and said, "Yeah, I did that." Like, you would have got knocked off and never had a political career ever again, just for a fraction of the things that he's actually been found out to have done. You know what I mean? Same in the UK, we had Boris Johnson lying his tits off for bloody ages and knobbing as many birds as he fancied, and like anything, something like that.
He's just as full of crap as Trump is, right?
Yeah, any hint of impropriety used to be
He's
like end of your political career.
Trump light.
Yeah, at least the thing with Boris, at least he wasn't thick as two short planks like bloody Trump is.
Yeah, he never advised us to drink bleach to get rid of COVID.
Or inject it either, or inject bleach or whatever the heck he was. Yeah.
I didn't mean
so
to
the guy you have now, is he any good?
I don't dislike him.
Yeah.
I don't dislike him. People complain that he's rich. I don't have a problem with that. The best prime ministers we've ever had have been rich. That means they're not doing it for the money and they can't be bribed.
Well, did you see what happened with this blinking? I'm not sure if you've seen the papers today, but these new off-sea oil rigs just happened to have complied with a certain time when people like the oil company have all come into some scheme that he's signed up with, something like that. There's some hints today that he's, these new decisions he's made, a little bit, I don't know. Yeah, I only saw it in passing, so that's why I'm not explaining it in very good detail, because I can't really remember what it was said.
You don't really know, yeah.
No, yeah, but there was something like Shell had gone in with some company that he was a member of, and the fact that he just signed up the country to all these new oil rigs sort of like seemed like conspicuous timing, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I didn't mean to put Jam off last week, but man, did I send it off with a big old fuck you to right wingers. I have had my fill of them.
You and me both.
He's like, well, be peaceful. And it's like, I spent my life being peaceful. Fuck them sideways. I've had my fill of them.
Yeah.
They're just going to keep pushing until somebody pushes back. And I'm like, you fucking push me too far and I'm going to knock you out and drag you out of here.
No, I would never try to rile you up, Kyle. My one rule: never rile Kyle. Never rile Kyle.
That's probably
just a big old softy.
I know you are, as long as you're your friend. But I mean,
yeah, Bill. Just remember, it's only a 12-hour drive for him to get to your house.
Yeah, he said it at the beginning of the show. It's only 12 hours. He said it's only 12 hours.
So if I piss him off at 7 in the morning, he'll be here by 7 at night to kick my ass, to kick my arse. As you guys
I wouldn't drive. That'd take too much energy. I got an airport right around the corner. I could be
He'd be here in 2 hours. I'm leaving. I'm moving to Poughkeepsie. No, I'm kidding.
Let's do some maths here. If you're in an airplane and you're at 10,000 feet in the air, how long does it take to hit terminal velocity when you drop out of the plane without a parachute?
With a parachute, without a parachute.
Without a
Well,
parachute.
I thought you hit it
Like,
immediately.
How
10
long
seconds,
does it
isn't
take you to
It's
hit
like that.
122 miles per second?
I don't
It's
know.
really quick, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've heard it's really quick, like 20 seconds, and you're already at terminal velocity
Yeah,
once you're falling.
20 seconds.
20 seconds.
See, now, how do you know that?
No.
Well, the only reason you know is because you're DB Cooper.
He probably knows because he threw people out of airplanes in his military days.
If you land on grass, you bounce 30 feet in the air the first time. Second time, you don't bounce. You just
No, well, it's probably nothing. It's probably just a bag of goo.
Yeah? The second you bounce once and then you scatter, the rest of the bits fall down like rain. I'm guessing if you fall from terminal velocity.
That was one of the earliest traumas I ever had as a kid. It was watching this. These guys do a parachute jump out over this field. 3 chutes came open, 1 didn't, and the guy was probably quarter to a half mile away from me, and he went boink.
Ooh.
He died?
Oh God, yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, duh.
Yeah.
No, he survived.
You never
There
catch
have
me.
been people that are
His name was Bond, James Bond.
There's an airline stewardess that survived a 10-mile drop.
Yes, I read about
I heard
that.
that.
Yeah.
I've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird, isn't it? So crazy how things happen sometimes.
She ended up committing suicide dealing with all the shit that went with it. But
Crazy.
So I guess you didn't really survive it then, right? I mean,
oh, she lived for
Well,
decades.
she
She
survived
lived
the
for
fall.
decades, but
She
she
didn't
killed
survive
herself.
the consequences.
She had the PTSD
But-
of it, I'm sure.
You know, the funnest place to drop somebody out of an airplane is over to Florida Everglades because the gators eat them.
Mark,
Who
did
is
you
that
get a
for?
haircut when you went
Doing
back
the
to work?
throwing or the
You
other-
look-
the
you look
I did get a
kinda-
haircut,
you look
but I
more
needed a
dapper.
shave.
Yeah, you look
Yeah,
more
I did
dapper.
I had a haircut before I went back. Yeah.
So, so our panel went well. The Ditko panel, I took pictures at the Ditko panel. Ditko panel was fantastic. Mark Ditko is Steve's nephew, and his niece was also there. Actually, his first cousin once removed, but since the age difference, she always called him Uncle JD. And because he was John Ditko, he was John Steve Ditko. And so one part of the family knew him as John, one part of the family knew him as Steve. So it's
Did they do a deal with Marvel on royalties?
Not yet. And it's going to be very tricky because it was very well known that he left Marvel because Stan was supposed to get him a deal where he got a percentage of a cut of Spider-Man. However, that didn't happen. He left, but he felt like he knew he was doing work for hire, so he shouldn't get any further compensation. Well, his family is actually doing it so they have money to help him stay remembered.
Okay.
And so I think that's noble, but it's well known that he felt like he did work for hire. Now the Kirby thing may help a lot, but the fact that everyone knows that Ditko didn't feel like he deserved it, that might play into it. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Didn't Steve donate the original art to AF-15?
No. That's a lot of people thought that, and then they thought it was Marie Severin, but because she had access to the vault, and now they just don't know. They pretty much know for sure it wasn't Stan, but they also pretty well know it's not Steve either. So, but supposedly he destroyed a lot of the artwork he still had shortly before he died, which I don't really understand why you would do that, but
You know artists and artist temperaments.
I
I've known them
know
all my
it's just
life.
so freaking weird. But Jonathan Ross, I believe bought some stuff from him, but didn't tell anybody. But I think when he was doing that, where is Steve Ditko, or who is Steve Ditko? He went to his apartment with Neil Gaiman, and they came back like an hour later, and he had a bunch of stuff under his arm because, oh, I couldn't get anything. Well, I think he did. I think he got a splash page from Warren, actually, from him.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I've been at a con where I've seen John drop like 100 to 150K,
Yeah.
you know, easily.
Yeah.
You know,
I
he's
had
got
a
the
chance
money.
to get Ditko's autograph when I had his address for a while. When he did that, send me a letter, I'll send it back. And I was like, I just don't care. I don't want one.
He's a super nice guy.
Because that would have been, to me, I'm not a big Ditko fan, so to me it just would have been pure greed for me to get it and flip
Right.
it. Like, that's just rude. I understand the guy didn't know that that's just rude. You know, if I was a fan, I had friends that were fans that wrote him and just said, you know, you affected my life. Thank you. I appreciate you. And he'd send them back a page long, you know, hey, life is good. Do your thing. Be you. You know, kind of pep talk, and signed it. And I'm like, I'd feel dirty at getting an autograph like that. And I'm just, you know, cost me a lot of money and I don't care. Because God knows how much one of those autograph letters go for now.
I think I have one from when I was in high school, or I used to. I think it's still around. Regards, Steve Ditko.
If I'd have been a Ditko fan, I mean, a bug JM, I got a stack of books. I just need JM to sign, but
yeah,
I hate bugging him. I'm like, you know, how much is too much? I got too many autographs anyway, you know.
Right.
I don't want to be greedy, but, you know, he is my favorite writer. I don't mince words about that.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you.
And they have got to figure out something. The economy has been in the dump since Trump left. No, it hasn't. The economy has been in the dump since Reagan took office.
Yep.
Like Bill Clinton got us out of an economic dump for 5 minutes. Other than that, it's been in the dump the whole damn time.
Nope, you're right.
You know,
Bad but true.
Gas prices yo-yo. It don't matter who's in office. They're all fucking figurehead puppets.
Doesn't matter at all.
The only thing that bugs me about crazy right-wingers is they can't call it on their own side.
Thanks, Matilda.
I call shit when I see shit, and it doesn't matter, right, left, middle. Hey, thank you, Matilda, darling. I'll call bullshit on all of them and not mince words, but when people won't call bullshit on somebody, it's like, why? Just because they lean your way, call bullshit to their face.
So the only time I've in recent years, the only time I've seen Congress actually agree was last week on the UFO hearings. Did you hear about that, Mark?
They agreed on the UFO hearings.
Yeah.
Well, as long as it's something critically important.
So yeah, and apparently we have a lot of. We've got maybe 10 to 20 alien cadavers supposedly.
Oh, nice.
I have one in my living room. And we've retconned a lot of the hardware.
So what did they all agree, that they were going to release the alien bodies?
They're UAPs.
No, but they agreed that people that are whistleblowers about it shouldn't get in any kind of trouble.
Yeah.
And that we need to listen to these guys.
The guys with the tinfoil hats have now got a voice.
No.
I want to wait
honestly, these guys, the guys
naval fighter pilots aren't tinfoil hat wearing guys.
No. These are
the guy
defense contractors.
Top Gun off of has said this. You know, Neil Armstrong said, "Yeah, we aren't alone." So they're not the tinfoil hat types. These were the fighter pilots that had the video come out.
Oh yeah, I've heard about those. Yeah,
you can dog a lot of hilljacks, but you can't dog a fighter pilot that chased one.
So what was the ruling that now fighter pilots are allowed to say they've seen aliens without being silenced?
Right. Yeah,
and people that like high-ranking people got the boot for coming out and saying, you know, we need to go public with this. But it's, I mean, as crazy as it might sound, Mark, it seems to me that there is absolute evidence of the existence of of people or something
And
from somewhere else.
When Gray stops swirling and he pops back on, I want to know
Well, yeah, because
how far off the deep end do we want to go here?
I've been watching that documentary on Disney, Secret Invasion. So, I'm all up on this.
Oh yeah, well, and I'm sure. Well,
they screwed that series up so bad.
Kyle is a Skrull.
They screwed that series up so bad. Now, how far do we want to take
I love the series, Kyle. I know a lot of people are bitching about it, but I did you like it, Mark? I thought it was great.
I haven't watched the last one yet.
Oh, it's great. It pulls everything together.
I like it.
I
like it. Yeah.
How far do we want to take this podcast? Because with a phone call, I can get Congressman Andre Carson on here to talk Project Blue Book, the modern Project Blue Book.
Let's get Andre. I like Andre. He's a good guy.
We can talk about the things that are actually declassified and whatever. He can't go into detail on.
So, can you tell us anything about the shapeshifters, Andre? No, I'm kidding.
So hang on. So we've got lots of dead aliens. Have we got any alive ones?
Yep.
You think?
Yep.
You think they're in captivity, or do you think they can come and go as they please?
Both.
Shit, that's crazy.
All right, so I'm going to bring this down a little bit. Bring it back down to earth. I was going to tell a joke to the start. So how about a little joke?
Is it clean or dirty?
I'm sure it'd be a very little joke if it's coming from you.
It's a mom pa cattle joke. You know mom pa cattle?
Probably not. The original Beverly Hillbillies, so to speak.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah.
This older couple living on the farm.
Hey, Paul. Hey, Paul.
Kids have all moved away and things like that. Life's kind of boring. Lady sitting out on the back porch one night, and this light beam comes up. She goes, Huck, get out here, get out here. And he comes out and sees this alien craft come down and land. And these two humanoid-looking aliens come out of it. And they're like, we're from the planet Promethea. We've come to study humanoids on this planet, and their sexual proclivities. And they said...
was this a probe joke?
Basically, they said, we want to see how you go sexually, how you reproduce sexually and things like that. They said, would you be willing to pair off with us? And they're like, well, all right, we're middle-aged or whatever. What the hell? Let's find out where this goes. So the wife takes the hand of the guy. The wife takes the hand of the alien, and they go upstairs, and the husband takes the woman in to the spare room. The wife gets upstairs with the alien, and she's looking at him. She's like, you're naked, and I don't see any appendages coming off of you. How do you guys have sex? And he says, hold on. He says, as I do this, it'll start growing, and it starts growing out of his pelvis. And when it grows to the length you want, just tell me to stop tugging. And it's growing. She sees a 10-inch hog come off of it, and she's like, that's good. And she goes, but there's a problem. Huh?
I know the punchline now.
Yeah. And she goes, but there's a problem. That thing's 10 inches long, but it's pencil thin. And he goes, well, hold on. Let me get the girth on it. And he starts tugging on his other ear. And it just starts widening out. Gets about as thick as a Coke can. And she's like, okay, that's good. Then they proceed to have mind-bending sex all night long. She's like, comes down in the morning, aliens are gone. Her husband's sitting there having coffee. Her hair's all disheveled, and she's like, how was your night, honey? Mine was quite the experience. And he goes, oh, it's fucking awful. We just laid in there, and all she did is yanked on my ears all night long.
Oh, God. I guess we deserved that.
Not bad. I'll take that one, Carl. That was all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the vanilla version of one of my dirty jokes that I love to tell.
I guess the punchline.
Yeah.
Anyone bought any new books lately? Did you buy anything? Is that what you showed earlier? Is that what you bought, Bill? Was that what you bought when you was at the con?
Yeah, well, I bought other stuff too. Let me see what else I have here that I have.
You buying the actual paper comics
this
or
is something
books?
great.
Blackula, Return of the King.
It's basically a continuation of the original movie, not the second movie, Blackula Scream. But the artwork.
I've not seen any of the Blackula movies, to be honest.
The artwork. So I met the actual artist, got it signed.
Okay.
But look at this artwork. It's really phenomenal. Let me find a really good page here.
Looks kind of Sienkiewicz.
It's very Sienkiewicz-y.
Oh, it looks like a bit. What's
and
it
I
called?
I
Dean
have no
McCone,
problem asking people if they're influenced by an artist they look like, and they always tell me the truth. Look at that.
That's like the guy who does the Sandman stuff. What's his name? Sandman covers Dean McCone?
McKean, is it?
Dave McKean.
Dave McKean, yeah.
What also reminds me of what's the guy's name? George Pratt, the guy who did the this is great stuff.
Yeah, I like that.
It's wonderful.
So you got any trivia for us this week, Mark? Since you haven't been doing trivia lately.
No, I'm probably going to do a quiz on Friday, Kyle, but I'll do the questions tomorrow or tomorrow night.
Well, that's no good, is it?
I wanted one today.
I don't think Bill's done any questions yet.
Well, you'll have them for next week.
Okay.
Because I got that Graham guy, the Graham guy, the guy who got about 16 questions in a row right last time. He was chasing me to do a quiz, so I thought I might.
All right.
Yeah. I could go up and get some Marvel trivia questions for fun, but
right, I'm probably going to log off because I haven't seen the wife for a few days.
Hey, hold on. I want to show you something real quick before you
Quickly.
go.
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
Is everyone else think he needs to change his camera angle? Looking up his nose all the time. He needs to have it on a level with his face rather than looking up at his ceiling all the time. I swear. Worst camera angle ever.
Yeah, it's a strange angle.
Yeah, you just got to put it up on a blinking level. He looks better. When he shows any comic books and that, they're all kind of like going away from you because the angle it is at.
Knackered.
Okay, here I am. So
here I come to save the day.
Here I come to save the day. So my friend Travis, who I stayed with the last night I was there because I needed a break from Pete, but Travis has written all these psychology books on different aspects of fandom.
Oh, that's fun.
And yeah, he signed them to me, just great stuff. But he's done one on Doctor Who. He's done one on Star Wars, on Star Trek. It's just, he's fantastic. Has done 2 or 3 on Batman, and just fantastic work. Then I got this.
Well, is it meant to be the psychology of the character or the psychology of the comics?
Both. The story.
That is Kojo?
This is called Train Biting Godzilla.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that great?
I love the packaging now, yeah.
It's just great stuff. And then, of course, my favorite Godzilla adversary is the Smog Monster. And this glows in the dark. And then this is a small version of the Mattel Shogun's Warrior version of Rodan that they released in the 70s.
Nice.
And it got all the same package art and everything. It's just about a fourth of the size of the original. And this is by
have you got a Gamma
Reaction, which is owned by Funko. What's not owned by Funko these years? Funko's up kind of in trouble right now. A lot of people got sick at the Funko Fun Days because apparently they serve these chicken sandwiches with salmonella. So we won't charge you extra for the salmonella. Oh no.
Oh crap!
Have they done a Funko salmonella?
They will now.
Oh.
They will now. I'm sure it'll be a chicken sandwich where you open it up and it's all, you know,
Oh, man.
A
slimy
rotting
and
chicken
shit.
sandwich.
Yeah.
They
Enjoy
could do a
the chicken
salmonella
sandwich.
chase figure or
And
something
didn't
like
they
that.
charge something ridiculous like $230 entrance to this thing?
Yeah, and it started out as $40 when I started going years ago, and it's just gone up, up, up. It's ridiculous. But you know, I used to pay for my trips. I can't even get a ticket to it anymore. But I used to pay for my trip from all the stuff I got there. I'd put it online, and I would make as much as $1,500 to $2,500 from
Oh,
just
right,
the
for the
stuff I
free
got.
visit at the Funko Salmonella party.
Yes, from the the Super Salmonella Party. Yes, I think we need to have one of those, Mark. Sans the salmonella, but
Oh,
you know.
just before I go, I did have a good pickup on Whatnot a few
Oh,
weeks
great!
ago.
Let's see what you got.
But for $80, I got this lot. So I got a full set of fantasy masterpieces. So this is
Wow.
a full set of these for $80. And the one that I really wanted, so we've got 1, 2. These are the reprints, of course, but they're still this one, number 1 and number 4, still over $100. I could sell both of those for over.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Even the fantasy masterpiece ones.
Yeah.
I've got number 1. I don't have number 4, but I'm not chasing.
So this
them
is the
anymore.
second.
I just
This
want
is
the
the second
original.
series, right?
It's
the
the reprint
reprint.
of the first series.
It's the late 70s. They reprinted it in the late 70s.
79.80 these came out.
Well. But there weren't Silver Surfer stories in the original Fantasy Masterpieces. They were mainly
No.
gold
These are
names.
reprints of Silver Surfer 1 to 15.
Oh! I gotcha.
And they had like, yeah, they're beautiful. They just recolored them in like 79.
Yeah, so for $80 for a full set in there, but they're all mid to high grade.
That's nice.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good.
That's really
pickup.
great.
Sometimes you just hit a Whatnot show and you pick up a bargain. This lot, I think what they'd done is they'd bought a collection, and it cost them a lot of cash, and they just wanted to flog some of them to get some of the cash back.
Yeah, I don't blame them.
Well, I think if you manage to buy them cheap, you can afford to sell them cheap, can't you? Still make a profit.
Right. Yeah.
Why
I will bring. I'll bring these on Sunday actually, because I do have.
I thought about filling in my blanks on the original Surfer run with those. Because if you put them both together, I'm only missing like 3 issues. But I want all the originals. I don't want to futz around.
I don't blame you.
When
they're not ridiculously priced yet, are they?
No. I mean, most of these you'll pick up. I mean, this one I think will be about $30 and decent. Rate.
No, but I mean, can't you still pick up the originals? Like
some of them are expensive. That number
1 and 4 are expensive.
1 and 4 are expensive comics. You're into.
Is 4 expensive because of the first appearance of Mephisto?
No, 3 is Mephisto.
But
4
this
is the Thor cover.
4 is this is the most expensive one because that cover is a classic cover. People love
that cover. Everyone loves it.
Yeah. So it's 1, 3, and 4, depending on how popular Mephisto is at the time.
Yeah, 3's gonna spike like crazy as soon as Ironheart comes out.
Yeah, if we've got Baron Sacha Cohen as Mephisto, that'll go looping.
Yeah.
You're joking.
Nope.
What?
Sacha Baron Cohen is Mephisto.
What?
Didn't you know? Yeah.
No.
He's already filmed 3 things for it.
Oh my God, that's fantastic.
Miniseries.
I love him. I think he's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good in what he does, but I can't imagine him being Mephisto somehow. But there you go. We'll see.
I don't know. He's kind of demonic.
Oh, I think he'll be very good.
Yeah. The only guy I could think of, who's the guy who was briefly married to Katy Perry? That guy would have made a good Mephisto too. The British actor.
You talking about a comedian guy? Isn't it a comedian guy?
Yeah, long hair.
He's
controversies and
Russell Grant.
Russell Brand.
Yeah.
He would have been good too, but I think Sacha Baron Cohen is
Sacha Baron Cohen's a better actor.
Oh,
I think Russell Grant did Russell Grant not do horoscopes?
Yes, he's a big fat guy.
Who is?
Oh, he's connected.
He can be Mephisto. Yeah, I like that one. Yeah, that would work.
That's funny. That's
funny. We can start that rumor.
What do you think he's going to appear in first, Mark?
What is he meant to be in? Kyle, which one is it? I think it might be the. Which one is he going to be in first?
What do you think? I'm guessing Loki too.
No, Ironheart. He filmed the stuff for Ironheart already.
Oh,
Is that a show or is that a film?
movie.
It's a TV show.
Oh, it's gonna be a
Oh,
TV
yeah.
show. Okay.
I never even heard of Ironheart. I didn't realize there'd been
Isn't Ironheart the little girl
Riri
who
Williams
becomes the new Iron Man?
Yeah, Riri. She's in Black Panther too. So.
Yeah.
I ain't seen it. I'm not even up to date with the films anymore. I'm not seeing.
Yeah, she's going up against the Hood, and it's going to be
Spider-Man.
technology against magic, and they're going to use the Hood to bring in Mephisto.
Oh, they're gonna bring in who?
The Hood.
What's the Hood?
It's a character.
He's basically
Not that well known.
kind of comparable to Doctor Strange, but more like a gunslinger mobster type of guy.
Oh, that's interesting.
Uses like magic and violence to.
Wow.
You off, Mark?
I'm off. Yeah, I better go and talk to the wife.
Yeah.
Bye, Mark.
Say hello to the wife from
Love
Mark.
you, pal.
For you guys
Next
to her.
week.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'll see you next week. Oh, I'll see you on Cover Slingers. Great.
Yeah. See you Saturday, Slingers.
I'll try and not be as controversial as Kyle.
Have you sorted out your comics?
I've got a good idea what I'm going to have. Yeah.
Don't lose any of mine.
You don't need me as a warm body in that, do you?
No, we're fine.
So yeah, I've got some good stuff. But the problem is, I've got quite a few good Conans. But I've got a feeling Bill will do them.
Yeah.
Hey, just learn from my thing. You know, I pandered to Matilda when I played my Hebrew Popeyes.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I haven't got any Hebrew. I could, I suppose I could do Moses.
What's the topic?
Park the Red Sea.
What's the topic this week?
Sword fights. Metal swords, Kyle, not
pork swords.
Not
pork sword
no.
fight.
So,
No spork swords. Mark, have a good night with the missus. We'll see you next week, buddy.
Cheers, guys.
See you Friday, buddy. All right, now what are we
The rest of the
talking
show
about?
will be in American Sign Language.
All right.
Oh, I know. I shouldn't have said anything. It's Kyle's second language. Look at Gray. What?
That's the easiest thing to say. Eat, shit, fuck, off, and die. My favorite thing to say in sign language. That and thank you. Thank you, man.
You got any? So what's happening, Carl? You said you get all your comics are going to go to Canada and Britain, are they? You're going to get
Yeah,
more?
for the most part. I've kind of decided 2 or 3 short boxes is all I'm going to keep.
And what are you going to settle with? Comics that you love or big keys?
Yeah, just some stuff I'm chasing, some stuff I'm saving for the kids, a couple of keys. You know, whatever. I can't even go through them anymore. I went through like a dozen boxes to pick stuff out for slingers, but it's like, it's too exhausting. I can't really do anything with them. I've got one book left on my want list, and it's right at my fingertips, so it's like shit. Actually, I just nailed down a trade for Submariner 27 from 1948, so I'm getting one step closer to having a wartime timely superhero.
Do you own any Venuses?
No.
I wish I did.
I have, but
Really?
traded and sold them long ago.
So, Bill, do you actually buy any paper comics? Is that just books about comics that you buy nowadays?
No, I buy paper comic. Like I bought the full run of Ghostlight, my friend's series. I don't, there's not a lot of shit out there that is really excites me right now, like new stuff.
Yeah, but are you buying old stuff still? You got like wants list of old comics, or are you just buying related stuff?
Yeah. For the most part these days, yeah. And but I have to ask you, have you seen the new Superman cartoon?
No.
Jimmy Olsen is one of the main characters.
So he should be.
Yes. Well, Jimmy does have a tan now. Jimmy's actually a man of color.
Yeah, they like there was this sort of this like meme, like a lot of ginger people have been turned into black people in superhero movies.
Well,
It's like
what was worse though in the Cavill movies, they made Jimmy a girl. It was Jenny Olsen.
I've never seen her.
And and she looked like she had ethnicity to her, like maybe Middle Eastern, or so. It didn't make any sense at all. Because Olsen is like a Swedish name.
Yeah.
I meant to talk to Mark while he was on. I didn't get with JM yet, but I'm gonna work on getting Spellbound Comics with Mark and that whole Kickstarter thing. Mark will be the UK distributor for him from Spellbound Comics.
You definitely have to talk to him about that. It's called My Adventures with Superman, apparently, the new cartoon. Is it cartoon, is it? Is it cartoon or is it live action?
A cartoon.
Oh. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's coming to the UK or not, but I haven't got enough channels. I don't have the channels to watch anything really, so
it's like the what they said in the wall. You got 500 channels of shit on the cheap TV to choose from. You know, it's like most of it's not that good.
Well, I don't have that.
Let's be honest.
To be honest, I never even have my television on. I don't turn my television on. I watch a bit of Netflix, a bit of Amazon. Mostly, I just watch bloody well YouTube videos. That's it.
I just recently got turned on to SX satellite or Sirius satellite, and for music, and right now I'm getting it free. And I have to tell you, I've always loved the Beatles, but their Beatles channel is absolutely amazing, and they play a variety of stuff. They play their solo stuff afterwards. They play remakes. They play, I mean, just a wide variety. But it's really nice, and you hear quite a few interviews with the original members and stuff too. And
Beatles, you think they'd get repetitive after a while, but
no, you know they change it up enough, and they have these shows where they bring on famous musicians to talk about, like famous bass players to talk about Paul, famous drummers to talk about Ringo, you know, things like that. Yeah, it's actually really good, you know. And they also have a Led Zeppelin channel, which is pretty good too.
They have what panel was pretty good?
Huh?
What did you say was pretty good?
Led Zeppelin channel.
Oh, there's a Led Zeppelin channel as well. Okay.
Yeah. And they have one that features a lot of Pink Floyd. It's a trippy kind of channel. I can't remember. It's not psychedelia, but it's something like that. And just, you know, they've got good programming.
You want some Pink Floyd The Wall movie trivia?
Let's do it.
You know, when the girls are going to go backstage when the concert's going on and they go down on the guard and she gets the backstage pass while she's blowing the guard.
Right.
Who was the actress that was blowing that guard?
I've never
I don't know.
seen
She's
it.
been in everything since then. She was one of my favorite actresses in the early 80s.
No, she was a club owner from New York.
What?
She hadn't been in too many movies.
I thought she was in quite a few things after.
She was a tap dancer in the biggest cult movie. She was known for tap dancing.
Rocky Horror?
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
No,
Watch The Wall.
It wasn't.
Nell Campbell goes down on that cop.
What?
That's Nell Campbell.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go look that shit up now.
That is Nell Campbell.
Damn it, Kyle.
Down on that cop.
Well, I've never watched the film, so
never watched that while dropping acid. I was watching that. We veered off. They used to run.
It's too late.
I'm kidding. I did the wall in a midnight movie next to Rocky Horror. And we tripped over to the wall.
The only time I ever did acid, I was watching Yurotsuka Doji, Legend of the Overfiend, and I don't recommend watching that on acid either. That was
my favorites to watch on acid were Kiss of the Spider Woman and The Wall.
Yeah, no, once was enough.
That was a really trippy movie too. That was one of the first dates I had with my first wife. And we know how that turned out.
Yeah, there were 3 of us went to this thing. This was late 86, early 87. And me and my model buddy that my mom was talking about, and one of our other buddies, Big Darren. This guy was a car mechanic, built like a brick shit house. Just literally just bodybuilder type builded a guy, and we're just sitting there giggling and tripping on acid and getting into the show. And when he comes out and says, "There's a coon, get him out of the room," Darren jumps up and just goes, "Oh," and runs out and went over and sat down and watched the rest of Rocky Horror. And that was it. It was like, oh, yeah, thought we were at a show and they kicked me out. I was like, oh my God.
Weird.
Hey, where's Nevs today?
I don't know. Did he ever come back to anybody about why he didn't turn up last week?
Yeah, he said he had a pretty bad headache and slept in. Felt bad.
Oh, he overslept. No, he wasn't on purpose. He overslept.
Yeah, and I thought when I tried to do that call earlier, it said he was busy, so I just kind of figured I watched Star Wars Episode 1 on acid. Yeah.
The lightsabers were awesome.
I watched Kiss of the Spider Woman with Raul Julia. I watched it with a bunch of drag queens tripping on acid. That was fun.
Did you get a blowjob that night?
No, I saw aliens and got anal probed.
I kid, folks.
I saw aliens and got anal probed. That's the story I'm sticking to.
He never got a BJ, but
you got screwed up to Prometheus.
Yeah. Yeah.
So did you see that footage that Kyle was putting up earlier, Gray, where he spotted a
not
UFO?
Not close up.
No. I think
to be honest, when he said it was a Foo Fighter, I just assumed that was some kind of military plane. I didn't know what he was talking about. So I just thought, okay, so a plane went near to another plane. But I mean, that wasn't, didn't realize he was trying to say it was an alien.
It's a little bulb. Just shoots right past it. The plane's doing like 400 miles an hour on the outbreak, on a turnout, and it goes shoop, straight by it.
Well, and what they said in the Senate subcommittees was fascinating. Apparently, when they've tried to get close to these things, they find out that what they're really doing is their vehicle is in another airspace. They're projecting a 3-dimensional hologram to fool whoever's trying to find them or chase them. And I thought that is amazing.
What is this? They're talking about the aliens at the moment over there, and they is some congressional hearing or something. What is it? I'm not paying attention because I think it's all.
I'm telling you, if you don't mind, I'll get Andre Carson on here and we'll talk.
Let's get him, please. Let's do it next week or whenever you can.
I don't know who he is. Is he an official over there or some sort?
He's a congressman. He basically runs the Modern Project Blue Book. He runs the X-Files.
Yeah,
isn't he a congressman though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is it all? What do you call it? Out in the open now? Is it? I know they declassified a lot of stuff.
It's getting there. A lot of it's getting declassified. A lot of it's coming out. They're dipping their feet in the water to let everybody know that this is not a new phenomenon. Nothing is new about it. Nothing started in 1947. This shit's all you got to do is look at paintings going back 1,000 years and you'll see shit. And they're like, well, okay, that's not a shooting star because that's actually here. And then they're depicted in cave paintings. They're depicted in sculptures.
Like his own conspiracy theory
no solid evidence, bunch of hogwash from a guy who's taking the name of the Silver Surfer, who's an alien.
No solid evidence. All I got to tell people is those are Top Gun Navy pilots. The guys that were sitting in that congressional hearing chased them in F-4 Phantoms, and they're sitting there. That's not tinfoil hat guys. That's guys going, I watched this thing turn at 90 degrees and go like this and do things that we cannot take the G-force for, and I chased it. You do not have people like Commander David Fravor So,
Norrin,
distraction to
I
what?
will tell you this.
What is there to be distracted from?
I worked with an ex-Marine who swore up and down that they when he during Vietnam that he had an encounter with an alien being, and I totally believe him.
There's
in the jungles of Vietnam. So I you know what? As crazy as it sounds, our governments have been hell bent on not issuing it. Well, a lot of people think that the 1938 War of the Worlds broadcast was in order to see how people would freak out, and I believe that's true.
They've been testing that for
people
years.
Freaked out. People got shot. I mean, all this crazy shit happened. So if that can happen from a fake newscast, imagine what would happen if it was real.
Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card was commissioned by the DOD to do the same thing, to test people's acceptance of it and things like that. This shit is becoming common knowledge to the point that you can't debunk.
We just don't have the photos or the video that's
we
I'm
got
sure
it all.
there.
Just the bigger ones aren't coming out, and everybody goes, "Well, you can't take pictures of them up close." You ever stood in an electromagnetic field and tried to get phone service?
Right.
You can't get phone service in an electromagnetic field. You try and take a photograph in an electromagnetic field, you ain't gonna do shit. You get real fucking far away from it. You can take pictures of the northern lights. You get up in a plane close to them, all your shit goes haywire because it's an electromagnetic field. It's a simple scientific explanation why a lot of this stuff doesn't exist. Up close. At a distance, it's fine. But then people are like, well, it's grainy and this, that, or the other. You get up close, you're in an electromagnetic field. It's a simple scientific explanation for that.
I think the
once you see these things, and but too many people think our little bitty speck of dust in this tiny corner of this vast universe, we're the only thing teeming with life. Get the fuck out of here.
No, I'm pretty
there
sure
are planets with 10 billion life forms on
whether
them.
it's made contact with us is the thing that's in doubt. Very much in doubt. But
but there are planets in this solar system with planets teeming with life.
Yeah, we haven't discovered any yet, though. We've never discovered any yet.
No, well,
they've seen plenty. It's been interpreted. People get dogged when they say, well, this might be what it is. It's still, they make fun of them and things like that. It's just, the big shots are actually starting to take it serious. They're not making a joke out of it. And my belief goes, I mean, my oldest alien story was my buddy's dad was this just pincushion Republican, suit and tie, Eli Lilly executive, through the 60s, 70s, and 80s before he retired. This guy was a stick in the mud. A great guy, loved him to death, but he was in the Air Force before he went to college and got his chemical engineering degree and all that. And one night we're out looking at stars and he's looking at stuff different and we're camping out in the backyard. And he comes clean one night about what he did in the Air Force. And he was a gate guard at Groom Lake in the Air Force and he produced photographs. This is me and my dog while I was an Air Force MP at Groom Lake, right next to the sign that said Groom Lake Air Force Base, which is Area 51. There he is with his dog, and this is like 1978, so it wasn't anything. It wasn't a Photoshop picture or anything like that. And this guy turns flush, and this guy was, like I said, stick in the mud stiffy, and it was like talking to a war vet. The dude shook. I mean, he just shook when he told the story. He's like, I saw them running trucks in and out of there. He said, I saw him load a huge flatbed truck, and they laid tarps and stuff over this thing, and they drove it out. And this is 1951, and they drove it to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. And then when he wasn't talking about it, he was an old stick in the mud again. But the dude just sat and shook when he talked about it. And
wow.
He's got photographic evidence of being a guard at Groom Lake. Now, he's been dead for over 10 years now. So I'm not really talking out of turn. But when I just saw this guy, because he wasn't trying to scare us kids, he was trying to get us to look at the stars, and we'd camp out back to watch the meteor showers that go in, and count the shooting stars or whatever. And he came clean about that. And I was like 12 years old when he told us, and he never flinched on that the rest of his life. He wouldn't go into great detail, but he's like, yeah, I was a Groom Lake security guard. I mean, yeah.
Talking of space, supposed to be a super moon, isn't there? Tonight? Is it tonight, the super moon?
I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, and that guy had me convinced, and I've been convinced ever since. And
Well, my parents knew stuff because they had crypto clearance, and my mom wrote training manuals for the Air Force, so my parents knew stuff. And anytime I would mention aliens, they'd go, "Well, you don't know the real story." Well, I thought they meant that I was crazy for thinking that. Apparently, later in life, I figured out no, they meant yes, there are.
Anybody who's been Marsoc knows. Anybody who's been Marsoc knows. And again, it's nothing new about it. There is absolutely nothing new about it. It's not just.
Well, I think the best evidence for aliens is that fake mask that Bill's wearing. If he was just to take that mask off and show us his real face underneath, then we'd know the aliens exist.
But I mean, they're really trying to get to people because it will melt people's brains. Here's another one most people aren't aware of, and it's easily researchable. The Vatican years ago admitted it. Years ago.
Well, admitted aliens.
The Vatican openly admitted to alien knowledge. Openly admitted.
Oh, that's interesting, Norrin.
And then it just got buried away.
Kyle, citation needed.
I just let people look it up. They just quietly let it out.
That's probably what's going to happen.
The Pope talks about to keep people believing in God. The Pope came out and said, yes, the Vatican acknowledges this and all creatures under God. Yada, yada, yada. Just quietly stuck it out there. And it's common knowledge.
Thank God I brought these babies back with me.
I think that the star that the three wise men followed was actually a spaceship then.
Anything's possible.
That was actually a Christmas special.
Angels are considered multidimensional beings. Angels are considered multidimensional beings to the large clergy. Literally. I mean, these are... And again, it's open knowledge, but nobody looks around enough. It just quietly gets said. Here's the one of the craziest things I ever saw. You know how we got involved in the Vietnam War was the Gulf of Tonkin incident. And I knew a guy on the boat. That took fire. And they knew it was an American ship, and they knew it was a crossfire thing. And I always thought, well, is the government ever going to come clean about that being a false flag? Page 7 of the USA Today, when they declassified it in 1988, is on page 7 of the USA Today. Just buried in a thing, Okay, well, yeah, the Gulf of Tonkin thing was a friendly fire incident. Whatever, but we got involved in Vietnam. And then they just swept it away.
Oh, yeah.
And that's open knowledge. That's open declassified knowledge. But they just quietly let it out, quietly bury it, and then just let things stack on top of it. But, the Pope himself is admitted to aliens. People got to understand we are a speck of fucking dust in the corner of nowhere.
I've heard, I don't know if it's acknowledged as true or not, the British knew that Pearl Harbor was going to get bombed before it got bombed.
The Americans knew Pearl Harbor was going to get bombed. A week before, you cannot do a movement like that without people knowing. There were correspondences going back and forth from the island saying, hey, there's this large fleet movement, and they knew it was coming, and they're like, just let it happen. So again, that's declassified. That's not even something you have to look at a news source for. That's declassified DOD information. You can go right onto the thing and look it up. We knew everybody from the top down knew. They're like, well, let them move, let them do their thing, let them see what they're going to do. Now, I mean, they didn't have the technology we do now.
No.
To where they could track every move, but they
Well,
knew
they had the radar then, did they?
if you know
Radar.
if you know a fleet is moving, you know, they knew it was coming. They didn't know how big. They didn't know they'd go with the zero. You know, there were things they didn't know, but they knew a large naval contingent was moving. And they said, so be it. What happens, happens.
Wasn't there a miscommunication, though, and they were supposed to not do it? And they didn't get the teletype or something?
No, it was a simple move, but you cannot move 10,000 people, not even 80 years ago. You cannot move 10,000 people on a water and people not know.
Yeah.
You can't do it.
Right.
I mean, you just can't do it. Now, nowadays it's easy knowledge, but back then everybody knew it. Every major government knew it. Everybody knew they were moving. They just didn't quite know the impact, but they knew, all right, this is going to get America's foot in the door for the war if they actually hit American soil.
Well, didn't we devastate most of the forces they brought, though?
We fucked them up sideways. That was basically a suicide mission. We chased them back up, and once we chased them back up, that's where they were fortified. That became the island hopping campaign. And again, you don't even have to listen to a news source. Just pull up DOD stuff.
Yeah.
You know, you don't even need a news source for it. It's common knowledge, and they're just like, yep, it was whatever. You know, everybody from that's basically dead now. So there might be a couple thousand people still alive that had anything to do with any of that, but in any way, shape, or form, or the fighting. But you know, 80 years ago, most of them dead.
if they are still alive, they're like 100.
Mm-hmm.
Like my mom,
Yeah.
my mom graduated high school in what year? 41. 41? Yeah, 41. And she would have been 100 this year. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
She's 40
And
when
I mean,
she had me.
they don't even try and hide that. They're just like, all right, well, yeah, there it is. You know, there it is. They put it out there and nobody really picks it up. Nobody really runs with it. There's so much shit that's been declassified and open sourced, and they just bury it in plain sight.
Yeah.
And people don't want to believe it. They don't want to understand it. They don't want to understand that anything you see that's top secret in the government now, you're 30 years behind. Whatever you see now, we're 30 years behind.
Yep.
So whatever you can think for the future, we're 30 years behind that. You know, people didn't randomly get Jules Verne, H.G. Wells. They didn't get these fucking ideas plucked out of their head. They saw shit. You know, all science fiction, all fiction is steeped in reality. They saw something that made them go down that road. They saw something that made them go down that road. You know what they saw? Who knows?
Imagination there.
What they saw, and again, it could be, you know, it could be a shooting star and things like that. But once you get into detail, look at the detail of like Jules Verne's writing. Dude knew stuff. The aerodynamic things years before we invented the airplane. Dude, they saw stuff. They knew stuff. They saw stuff. One of the greatest Texas sightings ever was like in the 1850s, and it was a mass sighting. You know,
in Texas?
Yeah. You see a thing that you think is a balloon, like they'd see balloons, and balloons would be, you know, awe-inspiring to people, but then they'd be in oblong shape and moving faster, so they couldn't explain it. But there's been mass sightings that's just open source material.
There's a green UFO just hoved into view.
But
you see that green flying saucer just come up behind you.
But yeah, there you go. Woo,
the landing.
What the hell?
Yeah, that's like my canopy umbrella here. But yeah, all this stuff is common knowledge. It just people don't want to look, they don't want to dig, they don't want to believe, they don't want to understand that this is a possibility. They don't want to think of themselves so minuscule. Then it makes them question God, which is why the Vatican came out and said God oversees all creatures, no matter from what planet. To try and ease people into that.
Oh, come me, Dad. I got to put this to bed now, guys, because I've got to go have my dinner.
All righty. Have a good night, buddy.
See you, buddy.
Much love to you and Lisa, man.
Yes,
Tell her
mate.
we love her and we're with you, buddy.
The only thing to remember is Cthulhu is coming. That's all you've got to worry about. Aliens don't matter. Cthulhu will soon arise from his slumber, and we're all doomed. That's all we need to know. Cheers. Yeah, I'm coming, Dad. Finish this.
Honey.
Dinner time.
Dinner time.
Bye, buddy.